Good evening, everyone. System Jock here with the 32nd episode of Cultist Simulator the Dancer DLC, playing as Margaret Zell. So, we left a few things on the table just so that I could, usually, especially when it comes to texts, I tend to like leaving them on the table so that I can read them at the start, and that just increases the chances that I'll be able to read all of the contents of the book in one go. So we're going to have to get to work on that. And I believe I was going to work at the Gaiety. This does come at the expense of losing the icy atmosphere, and I was thinking of it. I believe this probably means that I'm not going to be able to... I'm probably not going to be able to summon the Callagine as a result, but I definitely don't want to lose the contract at the Gaiety. One thing I might try and do is paint this, or, you know, I can try and get rid of it through other means. I have a few different options there. But for the time being, let's start with the Shaven Locktantra, also known as the one who has shaven his hair. This, as the story goes, is the lore that even the shape-changing Vanaras rejected. The Tantra speaks glowingly of those who are prepared to abandon their old self to seek a new and higher self. It warns that once the change has truly begun past the third mark, a return to the old self is dangerous and painful. Very relevant to our current interests. Let's go to the Gaiety. The stage awaits, hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. And I should have added a lantern follower. So let's bring Cat Caro again. So we've got Treacherous Ground, so we're going to want to get by that with Forge or Lantern, and then we've got the Fretful Dead. Not all the dead rest easy. These ones dislike our intrusion. We can prevail against them with Edge, or they make obey one who comes in the name of Winter. So in this case we will add the Winter followers. Again, that just gives us a chance to see whether or not Winter overrides Edge, which I believe it does. Okay, so Clovette's gotten rid of the kind of the evidence, or the reputation. We have a Season of Suspicion coming up, so it's actually to our advantage to clear out the mystique, hopefully before we complete the expedition. But I do want to turn in the commission as well, so I am going to first of all chat with Count Jannings. I have what was requested. I've received currency of the secret world, and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. So, usually we don't expect too much from the simple commissions, but Ironspan Tray are not terrible, given that we can auction them off for money if we need. Now let's talk with... We're not quite ready to talk with Dr. Redeem, but I don't quite want to activate Clovette or Dorothy yet, so we'll just wait a little bit. Alright, now we're ready. The doctor would like help with his research. And the air is curdled now. I'm home again in this lump in flesh. Better, perhaps. So we'll take the affliction, we will take the vitality that we have left, and heal. All I need now is time. Sorry, I kind of need to sneeze, but it's... Oh. Alright. Call upon the watchman who navigates. The watchman will clear our sight so that we can almost certainly pass without error. Now, I want to try and add the winter... I could probably get by with adding the winter followers later, but in this case, I'm going to risk it. We'll start by adding Eau Claire. And if we get in trouble, we'll find... I guess we'll just deal with it when it comes up. Here's what he needs. A very substantial commission on Lantern. Alright, so this will be good in terms of getting us a higher value Spintray. I think we get silver from those each time. Not 100% sure. Let's also just take a second here now, because I can afford to get rid of the moth followers, or I can afford to use up the moth followers. So if we took Porter... Now, Multiwarp admonitions takes us up to 13, and so we need 21. So in this case, the Winged Doll's not going to be enough, but I believe if we were to add a painting, which is 8, that will be enough to bring us to a higher level. So that's good news there. Now the question is, what do I want to do with the chilly atmosphere? We have a Season of Suspicion coming up, so we don't necessarily need to worry about dread right away. However, I would like to think of how I'm going to get rid of it. Well, if it's dread, dread is still an influence, so we can use that in, in a ritual. So I think I'll just risk it on its own. We will send Clovette out to get rid of the mystique. Not everyone is sympathetic to our aims, but if we have problems with our reputation, our disciple can probably smooth them over. I was dreading just taking a look at my audio. The music cut out right at the time I took a look at my audio. So I was terrified that the last several videos that I recorded had no sound. But just bad luck. Alright, tonight I sense an opportunity. Tonight I could attract attention if I cease to hold back, if I commit myself more fully. You know what, we're gonna do a special painting soon, I think. So let's add some extra health. Tonight they'll notice that. I felt all their eyes upon me. Afterwards, I received a gift from an admirer, too gaudy for my tastes, but I can sell it on the second-hand market. Alright, Moth finds light in the dark, and so do I. I hope that's a glimmering, because right now I'm going to do... I think I'm going to do a big moth painting. Those who know will understand, as will the Suppression Bureau. Whisper your secrets into the earth, burn them in fire, scatter them in the sea. Still, they will cling to your hair. The Tantra cautions. It provides an occult riddle that it claims is sometimes the answer to the riddle of the Hunter's Gate. So we already have the Ecdysis parable. And we'll now move on. Well, we don't have... Oh, sorry, it's the Flayed Tantra. This Tantra is recorded as being spoken by an enigmatic individual identified as Peel, with many of the qualities of the mythological Naga. The Flayed Tantra played a notable part in Alexander Sparrow's paranoid pamphleteering. Peel was numbered among the Great Hooded Princes, but it breaks with its brethren and followed... but it breaks with its brethren and followed the Thunderskin in the Endless Dance. Right, so got a couple of risks here. I did, I was a little too eager to start the esoteric painting because we are going to have to deal with the mystique still. We're much battered and thorn scratched, but we've made it through, so we'll add winter as soon as I can. I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. What could I be if I could be not this? Season of Restlessness coming up, so that's another one for me to keep an eye on. We'll probably just be able to dance that away. And we will add Violet. Okay, Dreamwise. Would be nice to get rid of the dread. Let's see what happens after we do the painting, actually. Because I have a feeling we're going to get more than one restlessness. All that I am is here. So yeah, this is definitely going to pick up, this is going to generate the notoriety that gets picked up. Let the critics argue over what color this actually is. Perhaps they'll come to blows. Made something unique, something extraordinary, something I will never dare exhibit publicly. There we go. Alright, so Multiwarp admonitions. Yeah, I definitely got ahead of myself there, but that's fine. Again, we've more or less accepted that there are going to be times when I just get hit by notoriety. So there's the contentment I was looking for, so we can annihilate that with the dread. 3 glimmering. A rattling in the soul. I don't think I'm going to be able to make use of this. It will turn into a restlessness if I don't, but that's a little easier to handle. There's a leftover notoriety. And most importantly, the moth. In the forests of the first continent, our ancestors cursed themselves with their own god. So again, one of the reasons why this is an important one for us is that it's the highest level moth instrument that we have, and so it's something that we can use to bring up our moth followers. The stage awaits, hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. Once Peel had peeled itself, it had the ink that it needed to write the Tantra. It had to face the wrath of its fellows. Here is the invocation it used to fend them off. The Geminate Invocation, which again is a higher level heart than we have before. The Sister and Witch has always been invoked for protection at crossroads and at moonrise and where the land shelters the sea. On to Those Who Do Not Sleep. The Mystic Broadnax discusses the origins of the Sister and Witch and the Thunderskin. So, lots of references to the Sister and Witch in the last few tantras, but of course they're all heart tantras. So, the Sister and Witch were born in two wombs, one poor, one rich, across the sea. The Sister was stronger in the aspect of heart, and so their survival was assured. The Witch was stronger in the aspect of Grail, so they were not satisfied. Oh, sorry. For some reason I thought it was Moth, but if it's Grail... Optimism is the spice which saves. So, again, right plan, just in this case where I was premature in terms of getting rid of the reputation. Let's kill the notoriety first. I feel a little bad about this because it would be nice to have higher level moth followers, but I'm not too worried. The dead circle the edge of our vision like frayed dreams. The very air around us is chill with winter's shadow. They must recognize that. We will have a chat with Jannings when the time comes. Tonight I sense an opportunity. Tonight I could attract attention if I cease to hold back, if I commit myself more fully. And I got lucky that I can use the restlessness right away. Tonight they'll notice that. I think I'll probably just dance away the restlessness that comes up here. I felt other eyes upon me. Afterwards I received a gift from an admirer. Too gaudy for my tastes, but I can sell it on the second-hand market. And this is the light, the dark. Moth finds light in the dark, and so do I. Alright, so let's go for... just trying to think about what I want to do with the work verb. I can do the Lantern Commission pretty much right away. I could do another dance if I was so inclined. Or I can try and do some kind of a summoning. I think in this case, let's just keep working with our commissions. The sun still moves, the wind still walks. My journals are the labyrinth clue. And another season of suspicion coming up. So this is a bit of a worry depending on the evidence situation. Of course, we're going to get rid of the notoriety using Clovette, but we're also probably going to generate more notoriety before we're able to get rid of it. So this is one of these cases where we may wind up in some danger. I think in that case, let's go back to the white door and let's see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get summon that we can use to kind of tilt things in our favor. Now I can approach the white door through the bounds. Now I can press my fingers to it, feel its chill, watch it swing open. As it opens, my mouth closes, tightens, heals over like a lost deformity. Around and about me is the cobalt light of the Mansis. And I don't think I read the text for this yet. The dead draw back. They're almost faces flat and watchful. They will not trouble us. And for those who do not sleep, when the sister and witch came from the west, the Red Grail permitted their ascension, but then grew jealous of their power. It lured a great musician into the ranks of its names, and caused him to be reborn from blood as a heart hour, so that the Grail might maintain dominion there also, but its victory is not assured. So here we've got the formula Vigilant, which I believe we had... No, we didn't. Okay. Very strong Grail. So, one who watches does not sleep. One who sleeps watches not. One who watches does not sleep. One who sleeps watches not. And the Rite of the Sea's fasting. This is kind of a helpful one because I have used this in the past when I've got a lot of ingredients. I do tend to find that I'll use these in a pinch. This rite calls on the witch and sister to close the gap between what is and what might be. The adept pours or hurls an offering into water, preferably, but not essentially, the sea. Kind of like the idea of if you're in a landlocked area, you know, you fill a bathtub and make do. All right. At some point, I want to paint with the Grey Dawn oil, but let's keep cool with the Suppression Bureau for now. Right, we need to translate again. So I only actually have one more work that I can study until the expedition's done. So let's take our Greek and translate the Book of the Centipede. So in the mid-1860s, one Madame Yi presented an entertainment based, she claimed, on this book. Standards of daylight society cannot apply to us, but perhaps we won't emphasize that point. Perhaps we'll rely on charm and good humor. I have supplied elegant platitudes about the high principles of our organization. Rumor squats on rooftops and flutters in gutters. This hunter is making progress in their investigation. So there's a couple of ways that I can deal with this. Right now, I'm going to wait to see what happens with the notoriety, but my talk verb is actually going to involve recruitment next. What could I be if I could be not this? Once a lady, the air is stale, and dust sifts worryingly down from the rock above, but the dead lie still. This chamber, with its chalked figures and ancient stains, looks promising. Actually, you know what? I'm going to risk something here. So optimism is a spice which saves. So we're going to try and produce a contest between the end of the expedition and our charm offensive. So not everyone is sympathetic to our aims, but if we have problems with our reputation, our disciple can probably smooth them over. So the idea here is that in 20 seconds... Actually, you know what? No, in 20 seconds we're going to get our notoriety, so the Season of Suspicion is going to pick it up no matter what. Should have thought that through. I finished the manuscript. So back to the gaiety, and this should hopefully deal with the restlessness. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. So, Lodge of the Sage Knight, especially because we may get a favor from authority there. I recall my dream. This was the Lodge of the Blue Silk flapping in the winds of the bounds at the Mansus edge, and here was its mistress, who welcomed me as she welcomes all travelers. Company is nice, she confided, but I still miss my Christopher. 10 years. 10 years and not enough. But we could not have been long together, not without touching each other, and you know what occurs when a man long lies with a long woman. Or perhaps you don't. I hope you don't. I won't tell you just in case. I'll give you a tiny gift. Okay, so more glimmering. Again, in some circumstances that's helpful, but it's not our biggest priority right now. I'm trying to think if there's something that I want to do with Dream at the moment. I think just keeping on moving into the White Doors is the best option. And... Sorry, the air is stale and dust sifts worryingly down the rock above, but the dead lie still. This chamber, with its chalked figures and ancient stains, looks promising. In a lead-lined sarcophagus lies the skeleton of a woman. She wasn't buried here. It looks like she crawled in to die. Something has happened to the shape of her skull, pushing out the jaw like the muzzle of a beast. Scrapes of rotting linen swathe her bones. Treasures lie among the remains of her clutching hands between her ribs. Alright, bronze Maitreya, Betty's blade. A cut from this blade will not cease bleeding until the wound is healed. One account has it that Betty was a knife-collecting surgeon highwayman in 18th century Toulouse. Another claims Betty is only the bastardization of an Arabic word for mosquito. I can't remember if I actually read the text for the meteoric bullet or the icon of St. Agnes, so I'm going to get through those now as well. Tanate iron bullets are occasionally dug from the skeletons of unusual beasts along Europe, the Middle East, and India. Someone has been hunting monsters. And the icon of St. Agnes of Bohemia was renowned for her pious dedication to the mortification of the flesh. This icon makes for grisly viewing. The cracked Wildering mirror. A crack runs deep along the shimmering metal. A forge-aspected follower could repair it with sufficient resources, or I could use up what power remains in it. So we will get someone repairing that when I can. But more importantly, we're going to move on to the next expedition, Kerisham, which is a fairly important one for us. So, as always, the hint and the percussivant go in. Percussivant's not going to be the only one who's dancing. And for those of you who are here because you want to know what the Dancer Legacy is like, this is your moment. So we are going to be going on what's called Ascending. So slink along the streets to a once fine townhouse. Surreptitiously case the back garden. Odd stories circulate about the woman who lives here. She might be an adept, a collector, or even the rare thing called impausa. We must be watchful. Now, one thing that you may say, it's like, okay, well, what's sending? Well, you can take a look here. Now and then an expedition might have another purpose. It'll accept the instar silent. In a silent house beside the sea, in a borrowed skin, we will seek the second change. I must find a place of power at the water's edge. Perhaps Sulochana can help if I bring her secrets about other places. Note that there's also a heart version of this. Well, maybe it's not assured that this is a heart version, but I'll just tell you that it's a heart version. The viper coils where the sea folds itself against the land. I must find a place of power at the water's edge. Perhaps Sulochana can help if I bring her secrets about other places. And the tip the game offers here, some part of you can roam in serpent shape. Send it to accompany your followers to a place where it can perform the dance you must dance. If you have problems finding the place, talk to Sulochana about secret histories. So, in addition to just kind of being aware of the extra spot, it is one thing you can do with Sulochana. You've noticed we haven't actually talked with Sulochana that much. All right, so we will bring Instar Silent inside here. All right, I think I said I was going to go back to the White Door. Prepared the text for study, and I don't think there's anything else for me to read at this point, so... The centipede always found her way into the dark places. When she was punished for it, she reacted badly, in the Mantis as in Maya. Alright, so the notoriety did get picked up. This may mean that we have to deal with damning evidence, which is a very high priority. So, in retrospect, focusing on the upgrade would have been better, but that's life. All right, our expedition... Oop, my own heart pumps more strongly today. All right. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I could add funds now, or I could send another follower. So, I have a little bit of a narrow path. I'm actually going to start by adding a heart follower. So we'll bring Dorothy in for now. I am going to need to deal with the Watchers. You know what? That's not going to work, sadly. Okay, so we'll start by adding Porter. Tonight I sense an opportunity. Tonight I could attract attention. If I cease to hold back, if I commit myself more fully. Tonight they'll notice that. I felt all their eyes upon me. Afterwards, I received a gift from an admirer. Too gaudy for my tastes, but I can sell it in the second-hand market. Now, I've already finished the commission, so there's not a whole lot for me to do with that right now. I'm just trying to think if there's something other than the contract at the Gaiety that I can be working on at the moment. I think the answer to that's no, so let's go back. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. It's basically a free turn. We will go back to Lodge of the Sage Knight. This is helpful. Last night, in the great pavilion above the grey sprawl of the Bounds, a woman who once called herself Teresa Gallagher sat on gilt-fringed cushions and offered me a horn cup of dream wine. The wine is imaginary, she explained, but the cup is not. To navigate the Mansis, one must understand the distinction. Perhaps one day you'll join me on the pilgrimage, or I'll join you. So here, let us share a secret. Her breath tickled my ear. So this knock lore, I was actually hoping for the knock lore more than the favor from authority. So that's going to give me something to do with the work verb in a minute. And it says our strength is matchless, so I am hoping to still take advantage of my mothy nature. So let's grab Sylvia somewhere around. Yeah, here we go. Closer, closer still, closer. Keep looking, closer. Now close your eyes. The river runs through the sands out of myth and into legend. The painted river runs the other way. One is barred to the centipede now, but she finds a way back in sometimes. So yet another forgotten chronicle. We probably have more than enough at this point, but... Now, one thing I could do is talk with Dr. Adim about getting Aramaic, but now's not a bad time for me to actually preserve some of these glimmerings. So I'm going to start with that. So, the Tigers of Wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could work towards increasing my passion. The other thing I may want to consider is start moving up some of this lore. And this hunter is putting the finishing touches on their investigation. So this is now the most important thing that I could be focusing on. So, for starters, Wildwood Club. Izabet. Izabet was just here, just a moment ago. Just here. Almost certainly. So we're going to take the ceremony, we'll add the moth and the painting, that is, and the Multiwarp admonitions. So that's just at 21. This is going to be important if I want to try and do this trick with something like a hanger-on, because Izabet right now has 5, whereas when you upgrade the hangers-on into followers and above, they're not 5. So there are some other factors at play. But for now, we're going to move Izabet up. Only a rare few, those most suited to service in our mysteries, may achieve this rank. Oh, and it says, attempt to exalt a disciple to Skin Twister. So what I was hoping for was to send a Skin Twister against the Watchers, but no such luck. Or maybe there will be if we fail. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. We'll pass in silent secrecy. Okay, so I'll probably add the heart. Actually, I don't need to add the heart follower right away. I'll add knock. Okay, I didn't have restlessness I was trying to get rid of, right? Nope, we're good. So let's take advantage of the subtle fracture, because that's potentially going to give me something that I can get rid of the evidence with. So, Calidated Invocation, and let's add Eau Claire. Once more with feeling. Now we'll add Eau Claire. So we've got the forge we needed, then the winter and the knock are the other components. Forge for the smoky spirit summoning, winter for its binding. It must know who will rule it. So if there is a problem with it, we'll still probably use reason to get rid of it, but in an ideal circumstance, this is just going to give me another option for dealing with the damning evidence. Okay, Season of Vision, so I'll keep an eye out for any fascination, but we're okay for now. In last night's dream, I was in the Lodge of the Sage Knight behind the white door. It is difficult to remember exactly how I came there, and the mistress of this place, the woman with the dark glasses, was nodding as if I had asked her a difficult question. Of course I hadn't. I lost my speech when I passed the white door. How is it that I can speak, she said to me. I didn't come here through the white door. I'm not proud of what I did to come here, so let me tell you about something else. Just trying to think if there's anything else I want to do with Dream. The answer is still, not really. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I could add funds now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that didn't blast out anybody's ears. It'll consume funds now, or I could send another follower. So we'll add Neville for starters now. This is just in prep for the warded door. We are always going to pass the curse. And we do, as it said here, we need heart or winter. We just need one heart follower, so depending on the order in which these things happen, we'll be covered. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. Use this lesson learned. Never mind. This is for preservation anyway. All right. So one thing I could try and do is start leveling up some of my lore. Now, maybe I want to level up the Sacred Histories. Maybe I want to try and level up the Knock. One of the things that's annoying about me is that I do kind of like having extra copies of lore kicking around, so I'm a little reluctant to try and move up the Igavine Rite. But it is also getting to a point where it is holding me back. So, I don't know. So if I want to move this one up, I would need Erudition and Glimmerings. I think I'm actually going to try the Secret Histories for starters. But in this case, I can't actually use a lesson learned. So let's get one of those Glimmerings. If I propose to learn anything, I wouldn't be reading this stuff. This was my past, but now I am changed. These are my garments, which I set aside. Here is my skin, but it is loaned to me. Here is my name, which is only a blindfold. Here is the wood, where we strangle the light. Here I was, and here I am not. Izabet never lies now. She doesn't need to. All right. So, I'm actually going to wait the 27 seconds. So yeah, we'll, we don't have a season of suspicion coming up. So we can leave it as a cliffhanger. But yeah, no point in leaving it as a cliffhanger. So the plan is, I'm going to send the Callagine first, assuming we get it. If the Callagine fails, we'll follow up with Izabet. Now, if we can't finish summoning the Callagine, we'll know that in 27 seconds. We can use Reason, and then we send Izabet right away. That's kind of the main plan for this. But yeah, the damning evidence is a concern, and it's something I want to get past. I'm still going through the white door. One, because it's available to me, but number two, what's helpful here is the more I go to the Lodge of the Sage Knight, the more likely I am to get the favor from authority, which also gives me sort of that probabilistic protection. There's actually one other thing that I can try and do with the Weary Detective as well. If I find that if I'm in a really tight spot, there's something that I can do to prevent the evidence from being activated. But I'm reluctant to do that. We'll see though. In any case, thank you very much for watching. I will just make a quick comment. So normally if there, again, this happens rarely, and I usually, particularly on cases like this, I double check, but normally if there is a problem and somebody says anything with a comment, I can usually respond sort of same day, because I don't obsessively look, but I usually just try and double check when a video goes live to see responses. But if this is Friday, which it should be, it's my birthday, and it's I'm not falling off the face of the earth, but I am planning on doing a little bit of streaming and then not dealing with anything that sort of counts as work for me. And obviously I love playing Cultist Simulator, I love interacting with everyone, but I'll just say that if you are expecting a response to something, or if you basically if you are accustomed to me replying to things right away, I'm gonna be gone for a little bit, and so my apologies in advance. I will get on top of it, but again, if there's something that goes wrong, if there's something weird, that's the reason why. Of course, with that in mind, if you want to give me a wonderful gift, feel free to subscribe to the channel. No, that's not the intention of saying that. But if you have been enjoying the series, please do consider subscribing to the channel. You can also hit the bell beside it for notifications if you want to know when the videos go live. And then on top of that, you can leave a comment or a like. Those help the videos get noticed. They also let me know if I'm on the right track. If you disliked it, of course, you know what a thumbs down means. But I always assume whenever I say that at the end, it's very strange to have somebody who's sitting around for half an hour on something they dislike. But yeah, for future videos, we will deal with the evidence, and we will see the consequences of ascending, which for those of you who've been waiting on the, on the Dancer to see how it works, this is one of the bigger factors of the ascension. But that's all going to be dealt with next week. Please enjoy your weekends. I'll be back. Weekends. Please enjoy your weekend. I will be back Monday with another episode. Thank you for watching.